Well, well, well. It's Saturday, baby. I'm a little behind pouring the tea. I had to get up this morning and go have my teeth cleaned. I really don't want to talk about it, but I'm going to bitch about it a little bit before we get to the tea, because, honey, I'm pissed off as I can fucking be. Yes, indeed. Back in 2023, almost 3 years ago, I went and had a tooth pulled and got an estimate done on what it would cost to have the entirety of my mouth fixed. At that time, I needed to have a few teeth removed and a few filled. It was going to cost me around $5,600. Last week, I went and had a tooth removed and one filled. Today, I went back and had it cleaned to get a new estimate. Since 2023, some of the teeth that I had needed to get removed, I've had removed. I've had a few filled. Today, the estimate was almost $12,000. Been a little less than 3 years, a little over 2 years. And I've had half the work done, but the cost doubled. Yeah, baby, I would rather pay somebody $100 to beat me in the face with a fucking baseball bat and go get dentures for less than that. For 12 grand, I could literally put a down payment on a small home, honey. For 12 grand, I could go buy my son a car that he could use for the next decade to get back and forth to school and to work and do his business, boo. So, no, I'm not giving no dentist $12,000 to fix my mouth. Like I said, I'd rather pay somebody to beat me with a baseball bat and go get full dentures and all of that, honey. For 12 grand, I could go to another fucking land and have my teeth done and go on vacation for a few weeks, hon, and still come out cheaper than that. Yeah, these people have lost their mind. Anyway, let's get to the tea. I'm done bitching about me. I got to bitch about Daddy today because he is playing in your fucking face, honey. Yes, while he's steadily committing war crimes. And that's what they are today. You heard about Petey Kegsbreath yesterday saying, kill them all. What I found so funny about hearing Petey quote, to kill them all, even though it was a war crime, those that survived on that boat, yes, by declaring to kill them all, that is a war crime. But it's the exact sentiment that is being reigned over there in Gaza today by the head of the IDF. Yes, that's his policy too. Yesterday, they shot 2 Palestinians who were on camera, clearly, dear, in surrender mode. Hey, they had dropped to their knees, raised their arms, showed up their shirt that they were not armed in any kind of way and posed no threat. But the IDF was given the order to kill them immediately. So, yes, our government is deeply in bed with Dudu Netanyahu that now we're okay with just war crimes every fucking day. And while Daddy Dumpy Pants and that regime are telling you that we're starting a war with Venezuela today because of drug traffickers and cartels, he simultaneously just so happens to be pardoning another drug trafficker, baby. And before you say this particular drug trafficker isn't part of the cartels, I got news for you. See, President Juan Hernandez, who's currently sitting in a U.S. prison for being the cocaine highway, that's who he was. He paved the cocaine highway into the United States. I guess Daddy's little boy, his little mini-me Booger Sugar Jr., has been, you know, dry lately. Maybe he needs some more cocaine. But anyway, like I said, this goes back to a cartel because, you know, Daddy Dumpy Pants wants to tell you that the Sinaloa cartel is trafficking drugs into this country. El Chapo's cartel. Well, the ex-president, Juan Hernandez, was being paid millions upon millions of dollars to help El Chapo and the Sinaloa cartel traffic tons of cocaine into the United States, hon. And I think it'd be a good time to remind everybody something Daddy Dumpy Pants did at the very beginning of his little regime change this time. Yes, one of the very first things he did was give citizenship and a free pass into the US of A to El Chapo's entire family. Did y'all forget about that? So let's take a look of the events. First, Daddy gets into office this go-round and pardons El Chapo's entire family and gives them citizenship into the US of A to live amongst me and you. I don't know if you believe that cartel families are reformed in some kind of way, but you were born into them, dear. It is a lifestyle. It is a tradition, honey. You don't reform yourself from that. Okay? Okay. Just make sure we cover that. And then, now he is pardoning the president that was being paid by El Chapo and his family so he can run free in the streets, so he could go back to Honduras and win an election for Daddy. Yes, Daddy's meddling in another country's election again by pardoning the Sinaloa cartel. Wait a minute. Isn't the cartel the reason why we're committing war crimes in the first place? But I guess if the cartel gives Daddy some money, then they're free to roam the streets amongst me and you today. Isn't that something, baby? He loves to pardon drug traffickers and gun traffickers and sex traffickers. You would think Daddy really liked traffic, honey, but he can't even drive a car. Can't even drive a car. But he loves traffickers, honey. He loves traffickers. I don't think I've ever met an individual in my life that has so many ties to drug and sex traffickers as Daddy Trump Dumpy Pants, honey. I mean, baby. Yep. At this point, we've almost pardoned the entire Sinaloa cartel and moved them into the United States. You feel safe today? Yes. They're hemming up children that are brown, honey, in schools, in classrooms, on their way home from school, riding their bicycle, too. We're going into hospitals and ripping them out of hospital beds, because Daddy believes that they don't belong in this country, while he is simultaneously giving cartels a free fucking pass and citizenship, dear. And let's talk about some of the children that have been hemmed up by the frozen crew and how they're being treated in detention centers, boo. These are kids, not cartel members, not even members of a cartel family. These are children that go to school with your kids and play with your kids, honey. And they're being put in detention centers and they're being treated so badly that we've had a couple of them end up in a hospital. One little boy had renal failure. His kidneys shut down because while he was staying in a detention center, they were not feeding him, maybe. We are hemming up brown children in this country and putting them in detention centers and abusing them and starving them to the point where they have renal failure. And he is pardoning and giving citizenship to the Sinaloa cartel. What is wrong with America today? What is wrong with America today? That so many of you are sitting back and letting this go on. Baby, we are more fucked up than a soup sandwich right now. It makes no sense whatsoever. You see, those little kids just trying to go to school and get an education, honey, and their parents working in restaurants and building homes. They don't have money to throw at Daddy so that they're safe and secure, so they're being treated like the worst of the worst, while he is letting the worst of the worst into this country because they have the money to pay him, dear. And nobody's stopping him. It's fucking disgusting. It is fucking disgusting. And it needs to stop. It's embarrassing to say that you're from America today, where children are winding up in hospitals with renal failure because they're in detention centers, starving to death. Meanwhile, we are just given a free pass to the worst of the worst. I've said enough. I gotta take the rest of the fucking day.